Have you ever felt utterly alone, adrift in a sea of your own thoughts, even when surrounded by people? That unsettling feeling, that profound sense of disconnect, can be as desolate as any physical wilderness. Imagine then a solitude not just of the mind, but of the body, a raw isolation where survival itself is a daily battle. This is the stark reality we'll explore, a narrative etched in the unforgiving landscape of the human spirit. We'll journey into a world where the vastness of the desert mirrors the emptiness within, a world where the sun beats down relentlessly and the only companions are the whispers of the wind. Our story centers on two souls, seemingly worlds apart, yet bound by the invisible threads of fate and circumstance. One is a solitary rancher, weathered by years of isolation, his heart hardened by a life lived on the fringes of civilization. He's a man shaped by the silence, the solitude, the endless expanse of his domain. His existence is a testament to resilience, a quiet defiance against the encroaching shadows of loneliness. Then there's a boy, lost and adrift, a fragment of a shattered past. He's been torn from his world, his identity fractured, his memories like shards of glass. He arrives in this desolate space, a fragile echo of a life he once knew, carrying the weight of loss and the uncertainty of an unknown future. He is vulnerable, exposed, and utterly dependent on the kindness of a stranger. Their paths converge in a moment of desperation, a chance encounter in the face of impending danger. The rancher, a man of few words and guarded emotions, finds himself unexpectedly responsible for the boy's survival. This is not merely a tale of physical rescue. It's an exploration of the profound human capacity for connection, the transformative power of empathy, and the enduring search for belonging, sabe? It's a story about finding your way back, not just geographically, but emotionally and spiritually. We'll delve into the emotional landscape of their journey, navigating the treacherous terrain of grief, fear, and the slow, tentative blossoming of trust. We will examine the profound impact of isolation, the struggle to overcome trauma, and the rediscovery of identity. We'll witness how the vast, indifferent desert becomes the backdrop for a story of resilience, redemption, and the enduring power of the human spirit to heal and connect. This is not just a story about surviving the wild. It's a story about finding your way back to yourself and to each other, nay? It's a story about the rediscovery of humanity and the meaning of true human connection. The genesis of this narrative, the very spark that ignites the story, often lies in the crucible of loss. The rancher, a solitary figure, might have been shaped by a specific, poignant absence. Perhaps the desert itself holds the echoes of a vanished love, a lost family, or a dream that withered in the sun. This void, this emptiness, becomes the breeding ground for his solitude, the landscape of his internal wilderness. Building upon this foundation, consider the boy's origin story, the catalyst that thrusts him into this isolated reality. Was it a sudden, devastating accident? A cruel twist of fate that separated him from his tribe, his familiar world? The circumstances surrounding his displacement are crucial because they inform his trauma, his disorientation, and his desperate need for connection. Furthermore, the initial encounter between the rancher and the boy is not just a meeting, it's a collision of two vastly different worlds. The rancher, accustomed to the rhythms of the desert, to the silence and self-reliance, must confront the raw vulnerability of the boy. Conversely, the boy, steeped in his own cultural context, finds himself thrust into a reality utterly foreign to him. The rancher's methods, his lifestyle, the very landscape that surrounds them are alien. The initial communication, if any, is likely fraught with misunderstanding, fear, and a profound sense of displacement. The boy's internal struggle becomes a central theme, a fight to retain his sense of self amidst the chaos. His fragmented memories, the whispers of his past, become precious artifacts he clings to, a lifeline in the turbulent waters of his present. Another crucial layer is the inherent power dynamic that emerges. The rancher, as the provider, the protector, the one who knows the terrain, holds a position of authority. Consequently, the boy's dependence on the rancher is absolute, a state that can simultaneously foster gratitude and resentment, trust and suspicion. The dynamic between these two individuals evolves through their shared ordeal. The rancher, accustomed to making his own decisions, finds his choices now impacted by the boy's well-being. The boy, stripped of his familiar supports, must learn to rely on the rancher, a man who, initially, may seem as inscrutable and unforgiving as the desert itself. Now, consider how this applies when you face unforeseen challenges in your own life. How do you navigate the shift in power dynamics? How do you establish trust in an uncertain environment? The rancher's journey is the story of how he confronts his own internal limitations, his own emotional barriers, and learns to become a caretaker. Building on this premise, the boy's journey is the story of how he rebuilds his identity, reclaims his voice, and finds a new sense of belonging. The challenges they face are not limited to the physical environment. The emotional landscape is just as treacherous. The rancher's initial hesitancy, his guarded emotions, and the boy's deep-seated trauma create a complex interplay of interactions. The desert becomes not only their physical environment, but also a metaphor for their inner worlds, the vast emptiness mirroring their feelings of isolation, and the sun's scorching heat reflecting their internal struggles. The slow, deliberate pace of survival, the rationing of water and food mirror the careful, deliberate process of healing and building a relationship. The boy's quest for identity mirrors the rancher's own journey of self-discovery as they both learn from each other. Let's delve deeper into the core mechanics of this narrative, survival. The desert, in its stark indifference, presents a relentless gauntlet of challenges. The sun, a merciless deity, dictates the rhythms of existence, its scorching rays demanding respect and vigilance. Water, the lifeblood of the land, becomes a precious commodity, its scarcity a constant threat. Food sources are meager, requiring ingenuity, patience, and a deep understanding of the environment. Furthermore, the threats are not merely environmental. Worryingly, the unforgiving terrain harbors dangers, from venomous creatures to the unpredictable whims of nature. The character's resilience is tested daily, their resourcefulness stretched to its limits. Building on this foundation, consider the pragmatic implications of this struggle. The rancher, a man of ingrained habits, must adapt his routines to accommodate the boy's needs and limitations. The boy, in turn, must learn to navigate a completely foreign environment, relying on the rancher's knowledge and expertise. Consequently, the story becomes a masterclass in adaptation. The rancher's skills, honed by years of experience, are put to the test, and the boy's innate capacity to learn and adapt is awakened. Another crucial layer is the emotional toll of this constant struggle. The weight of responsibility, the fear of failure, the gnawing loneliness, all these factors contribute to the internal pressure the characters face. Conversely, the shared hardship becomes a crucible, forging a bond between them. The mutual dependence, the need to work together to overcome adversity, slowly chips away at the rancher's isolation and the boy's trauma. Consider, for example, the simplest of tasks, finding water. The rancher might know the hidden springs, the subtle signs of moisture in the arid landscape. The boy, initially oblivious, gradually learns to recognize these cues to assist in the search. This is not simply about acquiring a skill, it's about shared purpose. The boy's contribution, however small, becomes a source of pride, a step towards reclaiming his agency. The desert, once a symbol of their isolation, slowly transforms into a shared arena, a space where they must depend on each other. Now, consider how this applies when you face seemingly insurmountable obstacles in your own life. How do you break down a daunting challenge into manageable steps? How do you leverage your skills and knowledge? And how do you learn to trust others, even when your instinct is to retreat? The rancher's journey is a testament to the power of perseverance, the ability to find strength in vulnerability, and the profound impact of connection, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The boy's journey becomes a lesson in resilience, the capacity to rebuild after a life-altering event, and the realization that identity is not fixed, but rather a dynamic process of reinvention. The narrative's broader implications extend far beyond the immediate struggle for survival. Consider the profound impact of this isolation on the rancher's psyche. His life, previously defined by solitude, undergoes a radical transformation. He is no longer merely a caretaker of his land, he becomes a caretaker of a life, a responsibility that slowly reshapes his hardened exterior. In addition to this, the boy's very presence forces him to confront aspects of himself he might have long suppressed, past traumas, unfulfilled longings, and the absence of human connection. This, in turn, creates a dynamic within the story, acting as a catalyst for internal change. The rancher begins, perhaps unconsciously, to open his heart, to share his knowledge, and to experience a sense of purpose he has never known. Furthermore, the boy's journey of rediscovery is intrinsically intertwined with the rancher's evolution. The boy's memories, his cultural heritage, and his dreams become integral to their shared existence. Consequently, the rancher is exposed to a world he never fully understood, gaining insight into the value of community, tradition, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Building upon this, the story becomes a microcosm of broader societal issues, such as the importance of cultural preservation, the lasting effects of trauma, and the vital need for compassion and understanding. The desert landscape becomes a symbol of the challenges faced by marginalized communities, the struggles for identity, and the significance of belonging. Conversely, the story's resonance lies in its capacity to illuminate universal themes. The rancher's loneliness, although rooted in physical isolation, echoes the feelings of disconnection many experience in the modern world. The boy's quest for identity resonates with anyone who has ever felt lost, confused, or disconnected from their roots. Another crucial layer is how this narrative can explore the concept of home. Is it a physical place, a state of mind, or the bonds of family and community? The boy's search for his tribe and the rancher's evolving relationship with the boy underscore the profound human need for belonging and the transformative power of connection. Now, consider how this applies when you face changes in your own life. Perhaps you have felt isolated, adrift, or challenged by a major upheaval. The rancher's journey teaches us the value of embracing vulnerability, of opening ourselves to the possibility of connection even when it seems impossible. The boy's story reminds us of our inherent capacity for resilience, the ability to rebuild after loss, and the importance of holding on to our sense of self amidst adversity. In addition, the desert's vastness mirrors the internal landscapes we navigate. It highlights that the search for connection and meaning is not always easy. It requires facing challenges, confronting fears, and, at times, venturing into the unknown. The story's power lies in its ability to inspire empathy, to remind us of our shared humanity, and to encourage us to reach out and connect with others, even in the face of profound isolation. The narrative's potential for exploring common misconceptions and controversies surrounding isolation and identity warrants further scrutiny. Frequently, isolation is simplistically portrayed as a purely negative experience, a wasteland devoid of all value. However, this perspective overlooks the potential for introspection, self-discovery, and the cultivation of inner resilience that solitude can foster. The rancher's initial isolation, for instance, may not be entirely a consequence of circumstance. Perhaps it's also a deliberate choice, a shield against perceived threats, or a way to process past traumas. Moreover, the story can challenge the common misconception that identity is a static entity, unchanging and fixed. Building on that idea, the boy's journey offers a counterpoint to this notion. He doesn't simply find his identity, he actively reconstructs it, drawing on fragmented memories, cultural touchstones, and his evolving relationship with the rancher. Subsequently, the narrative can confront the controversy surrounding cultural appropriation. How does the rancher, a man of a different background, navigate the complex terrain of respecting the boy's heritage while simultaneously assisting in his survival and recovery? Does the story present a harmonious integration, or does it acknowledge the inherent power imbalances and potential for misunderstandings? Conversely, the story can address the romanticized view of the noble savage trope. Furthermore, the boy is not simply a passive recipient of the rancher's care. He actively participates in his own healing, drawing strength from his own past. Another crucial layer is the potential for the story to challenge assumptions about the nature of rescue and belonging. Is it a simple matter of physical safety, or does it involve a deeper, more complex process of emotional and spiritual recovery? The rancher's role is not just that of a provider. He becomes a facilitator, a witness, and ultimately a participant in the boy's rediscovery of self. Now, consider how this applies when you face debates about cultural sensitivity or personal growth. Do you approach them with a rigid set of preconceptions or with a willingness to learn and adapt? Do you recognize the inherent complexities of human relationships, or do you fall into simplistic narratives? The story presents an opportunity to explore the gray areas of human experience, to challenge easy answers, and to embrace the inherent contradictions of life. It is in the nuances, the unspoken words, and the subtle gestures that the truest meanings reside. In addition, the narrative can tackle the controversy surrounding the concept of masculinity. Does the rancher's stoicism represent a healthy form of self-reliance, or does it perpetuate harmful stereotypes? How does the boy's presence challenge the rancher's preconceived notions of strength and vulnerability? The story's power lies in its ability to prompt critical thinking, to encourage empathy, and to remind us that there are no easy answers to the complexities of the human condition. The interplay between the rancher and the boy challenges these assumptions. Let's consider the role of the environment itself, the vast, unforgiving desert, as a character in its own right. It's not merely a backdrop, it's an active participant, shaping the destinies of our protagonists. The relentless sun, the scarcity of water, and the unpredictable shifts in weather weave a constant thread of tension, forcing the rancher and the boy to become intimately attuned to nature's rhythms. Moreover, the landscape becomes a mirror reflecting their internal states. The barren expanse echoes the emptiness they both feel, while the occasional oasis of life represents glimmers of hope and the potential for renewal. This narrative could explore the concept of place attachment. The rancher, having spent years forging a bond with the land, possesses an inherent understanding of its secrets. He knows where to find water, how to navigate the treacherous terrain, and how to read the subtle signs of changing weather. Building on this, however, the boy's relationship with the desert will likely evolve over time. Initially, he might perceive it as a hostile environment, a symbol of his displacement and loss. Consequently, as he adapts and learns to survive, he may begin to develop a sense of connection, a feeling of belonging to this harsh yet beautiful place. Another crucial layer is the concept of sense of place. The desert, with its unique characteristics, will inevitably influence the boy's cultural identity. The challenges he faces, the skills he acquires, and the relationship he forges with the rancher will shape his perspective. Conversely, the rancher's sense of place may deepen as he shares his knowledge and experience with the boy. Their shared experiences will transform his solitary existence into a shared journey, enriching his connection to the land and fostering a sense of responsibility toward the boy. The story allows us to examine how the physical environment can influence psychological well-being. The constant exposure to the elements, the threat of danger, and the limited resources can induce stress and anxiety. Furthermore, the beauty and vastness of the desert can also provide a sense of awe, peace, and spiritual connection. The contrast between the harsh realities of survival and the sublime beauty of the landscape offers a compelling exploration of the human spirit's resilience and its capacity for adaptation. Now, consider how this applies when you experience changes in your own surroundings. Perhaps you've moved to a new city, faced a natural disaster, or simply witnessed the changing seasons. How does the environment shape your emotions, your sense of identity, and your relationships? Does it challenge you to adapt, to learn, and to forge new connections? The rancher's journey reminds us that our connection to the environment is profound, that nature can both test and nurture us, and that the ability to adapt to our surroundings is essential for survival and well-being. In addition, the story can also explore how the environment's challenges foster ingenuity, creativity, and problem-solving skills. The tapestry of this narrative, woven thread by thread, presents a compelling portrait of human resilience. It showcases the enduring power of connection amid the harshest circumstances. The initial solitude, a vast expanse of emptiness, slowly transforms into a space of shared experience, a testament to the transformative potential inherent in the human spirit. The desert, initially a symbol of isolation, becomes a crucible, forging a bond that transcends the barriers of circumstance and history. Reflecting on this journey so far, we recognize that the story's strength lies not merely in its depiction of physical survival. Instead, the narrative's true resonance resides in its exploration of the internal landscapes. The boy and the rancher navigate not only the physical challenges of their environment, but also the emotional territories of loss, trauma, and the search for belonging. Their interaction is a delicate dance, a careful negotiation between two souls scarred by the past. The very fabric of their existence becomes a testament to the human capacity for adaptation. Each challenge overcome, each obstacle navigated, strengthens the fragile thread that binds them. We witness the slow, deliberate process of healing, the tentative blossoming of trust, and the gradual unveiling of vulnerability. The story's heart lies in the subtle shifts, the unspoken words, and the shared moments of quiet understanding that define their evolving relationship. Drawing these intricate strands together, the narrative reveals the profound ways in which isolation impacts the individual. It illuminates the hidden strengths that emerge in the face of adversity. The story's power rests in its ability to remind us of our shared humanity. The story's value lies in the reminder that the search for meaning is a journey of self-discovery. This journey can be difficult, challenging, and often painful, but it is also a journey of profound growth, healing, and connection. As we pivot towards the final reflection, consider how the narrative's themes intersect with our own experiences. Consider how the story's echoes resonate with the challenges we face in our lives. We are invited to contemplate the transformative power of empathy, the enduring need for connection, and the resilience of the human spirit. The story's power lies in its ability to spark reflection, leaving us with a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the desert, we are left to ponder the enduring legacy of this narrative. It is a story not merely of survival, but of the profound transformation that occurs when two disparate souls, isolated and wounded, find solace and strength in one another. The rancher, hardened by years of solitude, discovers a renewed sense of purpose in the boy's presence. The boy, lost in a drift, begins to rebuild his identity, finding solace in the unwavering support of the man who becomes his unlikely savior. This narrative compels us to consider the nature of connection, the profound human need for belonging, and the transformative power of empathy. It underscores the reality that even in the most desolate of landscapes, the human spirit can flourish, that the most profound journeys are often those undertaken within the realms of the heart and mind. As we pivot towards the final reflection, consider how the narrative's themes intersect with our own experiences. Consider how the story's echoes resonate with the challenges we face in our lives. We are invited to contemplate the transformative power of empathy, the enduring need for connection, and the resilience of the human spirit. The story's power lies in its ability to spark reflection, leaving us with a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the desert, we are left to ponder the enduring legacy of this narrative. It is a story not merely of survival, but of the profound transformation that occurs when two disparate souls, isolated and wounded, find solace and strength in one another. The rancher, hardened by years of solitude, discovers a renewed sense of purpose in the boy's presence. The boy, lost and adrift, begins to rebuild his identity, finding solace in the unwavering support of the man who becomes his unlikely savior. This narrative compels us to consider the nature of connection, the profound human need for belonging, and the transformative power of empathy. It underscores the reality that even in the most desolate of landscapes, the human spirit can flourish, that the most profound journeys are often those undertaken within the realms of the heart and mind.
We have been reminded that the harsh realities of life can become the very ground upon which strength and resilience are cultivated. The vast, indifferent desert becomes a metaphor for the internal landscapes we navigate, mirroring the isolation, the loss, and the enduring search for meaning that defines the human experience. Throughout their shared ordeal, the rancher and the boy demonstrate the capacity for change, the courage to confront their past, and the willingness to embrace the future. Their journey becomes a testament to the power of human connection, the ability to find hope in the face of adversity, and the enduring promise of new beginnings. The true measure of their journey lies not in the physical rescue, but in the emotional and spiritual healing that occurs within. The story leaves us with a powerful invitation to reflect on the relationships in our own lives, to consider the ways in which we connect with others, and to recognize the shared humanity that binds us all. It encourages us to cultivate empathy, to embrace vulnerability, and to remember that even in the face of profound isolation, we are never truly alone. The echoes of the desert, the whispers of the wind, and the enduring bonds of human connection serve as a powerful reminder that the most meaningful journeys are those that lead us back to ourselves and to each other. The true practice begins now, in the quiet moments of reflection, in the gestures of kindness, and in the unwavering belief in the power of the human spirit to heal, to connect, and to endure.